How we doing, everybody?
Never
Great.
been better.
Never better.
That's a lie, because we just spent an hour bitching about stuff. But other than that, it's fine. It's fine.
I mean, it's a snowpocalypse, but
Yeah,
we're
it's
good.
snowpocalypse. We're going to talk about 1993 this week.
We are, which is great. And so happy to be past the holidays.
Yeah,
and all
it's
that
been like a
hullabaloo.
month since we recorded together. It's so
Yeah.
nice to see all of us
It
in our little
is.
makeshift studio.
It is.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed that cookbook rewind episode because what a doozy.
I enjoyed re-listening to
I
it.
did too.
It was from 2 years ago, and there were things I had forgotten all about, including your claim to making Moderna vaccine. That was pretty great.
I don't like to talk about it a lot. I don't want to
Yeah.
draw attention to myself.
Good call.
You know.
Yeah.
Say that's a lot. Yeah. A lot of fan mail.
But yeah, I'd forgotten that at some point your pie just seemed to get up out of the room and walk away, and
Yeah. It
Yeah.
got really sweaty. I
got
forgot
really
about
sweaty.
that, which is alarming.
and then at one point it was growing back in
Yep.
to the
Yes.
dish.
It was healing itself.
I lost a pie tin that day.
Yeah, you did.
I actually did that in a glass pan, and it didn't survive either.
Yeah, you just threw it out into the wilderness, didn't you?
I
Yeah.
thought, I'm not cleaning this.
You know it's still in a landfill somewhere.
You know it is.
Even the raccoons aren't
It's
touching
just
that.
spreading. That yuck pie
Yeah.
is just spreading.
Yep.
It's gaining momentum every day.
If you didn't listen to our last episode, you better, because we're going to
Yeah.
keep talking about it as we're
Probably.
doing right now.
Yes. Done.
So yeah, you got to get back into it.
And you need a groundwork because I think at some point we're revisiting that.
Oh.
The cookbook special thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there
you
was
need
a
to
lot
have
there.
a base of information.
I did like how we walked away with no hunger satiated at all. It was just like all of this was kind of bleh, except for fucking
He's
Gwyneth
were
Paltrow's.
like great.
Yeah.
But other than that,
That was so annoying that it
It
came from
was.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
I know we wanted to hate it so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that you had picked Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
And the picture on that cookbook is alarming.
Yeah.
I'd
I forgot
forgotten
that she
that.
called it crafting,
Yeah.
and that she claimed that she'd fixed how vegetables aren't good for kids or aren't attractive to kids anymore.
Uh-huh.
And you were like, "Oh, you fixed it?
Yeah.
Fixed."
Did ya? Okay.
Didn't Jerry Seinfeld's wife put out a cookbook once on how to
Oh.
trick kids into eating vegetables? And it was like,
That sounds familiar.
like put carrots in brownies or something. I'm like, I think they're gonna find.
Oh.
I was gifted that.
Yeah?
That Christmas that it came out. Yeah.
Did
and
it
that is
work?
what it is. It's like taking like pizza sauce, but then you grind up this veggie in the pizza sauce and they don't think they're eating it because it's pizza. And you're like, no.
Okay.
That's still, or yeah, like it was veggies and brownies and
Uh-huh.
like different things and chocolate chip cookies. No.
It also feels like that trickery is going to be found out at some point. Like when they
Right.
go to school and school lunches don't have all that shit.
Yeah.
And so they come home and they're like, "What? Why does our food taste different?"
Yeah.
Yeah, or they're just gonna grow up and like eat a bunch of brownies and
Yeah.
you know
Think it's
they
nutritious.
think it's nutritious and good for them and stuff, and they're gonna it's not gonna
And they'll be
go
right.
right.
They'll
And
be
you're just
totally right.
creating a lot of food drama, in my opinion. But
That's some gall.
that is
That's
some
gall.
gall. Some gall.
Yeah.
And she didn't
Some
need the
gall.
money.
She didn't need the money.
No.
She got that Jerry Seinfeld money.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You're just trying to make yourself relevant. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
There's
look
no
what I'm
need.
doing.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Can we keep talking about gall?
Yeah.
Unmitigated gall?
Yes.
Can I go first on my
Yes.
unmitigated gall?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Because my unmitigated gall is snow removal technology.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because we in Iowa have had pretty much a foot of snow in the last week. It just kept coming.
More than that.
Every day. Was it more than a foot?
It's like double.
Yeah.
Really?
It was like a foot the first time and a foot the second time.
No wonder my body hurts.
I think we got more snow this week than we got last year.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds
that's
right.
accurate.
Yeah.
They said this was the snowiest week on record since 1941.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
No wonder my back is broken.
Yeah, it's done.
And my thought is, okay, it's 2024. How come the only real tool we have to clean this up is a shovel and my shoulders? Because I know that there's snow blowers. I know, but that shit's expensive.
very.
And in a normal winter, you're maybe using it once. It doesn't feel like it's a good investment when I have so many other things to spend money on. So I just use shovels, and there's so much gall involved because city policy for snow removal on sidewalks, you got to do it within like 48 hours or you get a fine. I've been fined in the past. It's kind of annoying. It's like $100 fine, and then it
Wow.
keeps going, which made me think, are there people just driving around looking at which
You know there
sidewalks are like, and they're like, oh, here we go, city money, yay.
You've actually been fined?
I've been fined. And the thing said, with each day that we notice this keeps going, the fine will double or the fine will whatever.
Whoa.
Like, it was intense.
But do you think someone from the city is going around looking, or is it just some a-hole?
It's probably
some
a neighbor.
a-hole
Like,
citizen.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So that's the gall, is the a-hole citizens calling in about the city policy.
Yeah.
Also, sort of gall is me for buying a house with an insanely long gravel driveway and not thinking that through, really. And just not realizing that I would have to shovel that. And this week I have to shovel it like 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also the gall.
And you're on a corner lot, so you got
I'm on a
twice as
corner
much
lot.
sidewalk.
Twice the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I'm on a busy street, so the snowplow keeps going by and undoing all the work that I've done in the driveway.
It's a recipe for madness.
I want to know, do the snowplow drivers feel bad about that? That's what I
They
want to
probably
know.
like it.
Yeah.
They're like, look at this.
Have you ever seen the movie Snow Day? That snowplow driver didn't care.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And finally, there's the idiots who see this and say climate change isn't real.
Huh.
And all those idiots are out in force this week for the Republican caucus anyway. So the idiocy is just, it's off the charts.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend visiting Des Moines right now, everybody. It's
Oh,
cold as
God.
hell and it's full of Republicans.
Yeah. It's a great place. A negative 41.
Negative 41. Yeah.
Wind chill feel, not that. Like real
Yeah, but-
temperatures like negative 17, which isn't better.
right.
It's great when we're saying negative 17. It's balmy. The wind chill, though. The
Yeah.
wind chill. And hey, today there's the sun out, but that sun is a trickster because it's not giving us any warmth.
No.
It's just saying, hey, look, the sun still exists, but I'm not going to warm
Yeah.
you. And I'm not going to help you with the snow removal.
I'm not going to melt anything. I'm just here for decoration.
So the gall is all the things to do with snow, but especially snow removal technology and the fact that it basically lands on my out-of-shape shoulders and back.
Yeah.
And I can't handle it. I can't handle shoveling another fucking day. I can't.
You deserve a break. And I was just thinking about the snow blower, and I don't know, with a gravel driveway, how great that would be
That's
anyway.
the thing.
You could hurt somebody.
Yeah. So that's another thing that's come into my calculations. Like, because
Yeah.
when I first moved into the house, I was like, oh, maybe I should get one of these. But yeah, everyone else has like normal driveways, and so it works fine. But I think
Yeah.
mine would fuck things up, and
You'd be breaking windows.
I would be breaking windows.
That's
So
not
nope, it's just a shovel for so much snow. And now the banks of snow on my property are little skyscrapers.
They are. But we appreciate all the work you did to shovel to let us come record today. Because
Yes.
that was
Yeah.
an extra level of work that you had to complete.
Yes.
As I was doing it yesterday, I was like, is this wide enough for a car? Nope, I gotta keep going. Gotta keep going.
I felt bad when you texted us and said, "Are you okay coming?" And I kind of wanted to be like, "Are you okay having us?" Because you're the one that sort of has to clear the path.
It's all good. Here we are.
I
Here
will
we
say,
are.
and one positive development with the snow, I will say, I'm not real big on giving snow props, but I
Okay,
will say
all right.
this.
Okay, all right.
A few days ago, I was walking downtown, and a couple cars were parked outside of the Renaissance Savory Hotel, and someone had drawn penises on the back windows of the cars, and I thought that was very
In the
funny.
snow?
Yeah,
I
in the
like that.
snow.
Oh,
in
little
the
snow
on the bank.
penises.
Yeah,
Oh,
I like
that's
that.
nice. That's someone taking a shitty situation and running
Yep.
with it. Making art. Making art for the people.
Making love out of nothing at all.
That's that's right. All right, what do you guys' goal?
My goal is vehicle related.
Oh,
And I like my car. I have an SUV that I enjoy driving, but I will say this: the backup camera alert system can fuck off. It is constantly. I have not seen anything so sensitive, so over the top, so full of shit. It's like a Moms for Liberty person at a school board meeting.
is it like beeping?
It is constantly beeping, and I'm just like, what garage? Like if there's a person or a car or a pillar within 500 feet of this thing, it's like, rah, rah, rah.
Oh my god!
And it's so annoying, and it's constantly, the brake thing will come on, and it's like, if you can turn it off, but when you turn it off and then you go in reverse, there's a bunch of noises being like, hey, your thing's off, and it's like, I know, ass face, I turned it off.
So either way, you're getting screamed.
Yes.
at.
Which is alarming when you're backing
Right.
up. Yeah.
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 And it just needs to calm down. Just calm down, Nancy. God.
Is that what you've named her?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mine
she
has a
sounds
front
like
as
Nancy.
well. And so if you
A
go
front
through
one?
a drive-through, it doesn't like the steering angle. It thinks that you're going
Oh.
to hit something, so it's constantly beeping unless you put it in park.
Oh my.
It is awful. Or like if there's anything in front of you, like cars that are supposed to be on the road.
Right.
It's like, alert. I'm like, I'm aware. I don't live in an apocalypse.
Right.
Like, I know.
These aren't raiders. It's fine. It's another car on the
Yeah,
street.
that's where it's supposed to be. It's right there.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, that's the thing. Like new cars, they have all the bells and whistles and all this stuff. And it's just some of it, I don't need it. I need to be able to turn it off.
If the
but,
future of
you know,
AI is Nancy, I don't want anything to do
Right.
with it.
No.
I
And
don't
I
want
feel
it.
strongly like for as long as I have to buy cars in my life,
Uh-huh.
we're not going back to where there's not a backup camera. There's always
Oh,
going to be a
God,
backup
no.
camera.
Yeah.
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 And now I'm just going to be miserable forever.
Somehow I have a backup camera, but I don't have any noise associated with it, which is great because I use the backup camera a lot, and it's very especially like when I was first learning to navigate out of
Oh,
my
yeah,
long
it's a long
driveway.
driveway.
Yeah.
That's very helpful. But yeah, if there was a Nancy yelling at me,
Yeah.
ugh.
And the thing was, it used to be louder. I figured out a way to turn it down because it used to be so loud, like it was startlingly loud. Like it, like, you know, like if you had a drink in your hand, like, you know, throwing it up in the air and like dousing yourself loud. Like, you know, it was just like, it would scare the shit out of you.
Uh-huh.
But
Wow. Down with Nancy.
Well, my unmitigated gall is once again social media related.
Oh, we got a
It's my
theme.
new theme.
Yeah, let's do it.
Happened to join a Facebook group that was like food reviews in the area of like new restaurants, right? So it's like a way to find out about places you hadn't heard of. Great. It's great. Except for people who don't understand the assignment.
Oh,
People that review things like Sbarro Pizza
nope. Nope.
in Jordan Creek Mall.
Oh, no.
If you go to that pizza place and you have a negative experience,
That's on you.
that is what is expected there. You just had an experience. You did not have a fine dining experience. You did not have something to share. You have exactly what we all expected. Wait, what? The pizza wasn't good? That's shocking. I'll cancel my reservation at the mall. Like, it's just, I understand you need a forum to say it. Maybe just write it and don't send it.
Yeah.
Maybe don't post it. I don't particularly love internet trolls, but in this case, I was like, you opened the door and said, come inside. Because you were surprised that the pizza was raw. Then you were surprised that you went back, got a second slice from the same pizza, and it also wasn't good. How do you think their system works? Like, all the
Just
pizzas
one at a
are
time.
out there.
One
They're
slice
not
at a
making
time.
it fresh for you.
No.
So, again, it's just headed into the new year. I feel like maybe we could all just take a beat and understand the assignment. Before you're going to post, think, is this helpful?
That would be nice on a global scale
Yes.
on everything social media wise. Like, hey, maybe don't talk about, Israel and Palestine on social media. You brought this up
Yeah.
a month or two ago. Like, this isn't smart.
Yeah.
Not a smart move.
No, not the forum.
Nope.
Not the place.
Not going to solve anything here.
No.
No.
We just, the other reviews, that's great. And I feel bad on that. Sometimes people really go in on people that are like, I had a bad experience there. I think we're all aware enough to know that people can have different experiences at different
Yeah.
places. But I also think we're aware enough to know we've all had the same experience at Sbarro
Right.
Pizza.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're not bringing that new POV to the Sbarro pizza experience.
right. It's just shocking. Just shocking.
All right, are we feeling better? We've had like a month of gall to get out.
yeah.
So many goals.
There's
so much gall.
probably a lot more that we didn't talk through, and things we don't want to put on the air. But
Right, yeah.
so much.
I mean, you can tell because mine came down to Sbarro Pizza. That was
Tip of the
enough.
iceberg, people.
Yeah.
Tip
I feel
of
like
the
they need to
iceberg.
review Hy-Vee or something on that basis. Then.
Oh, I guarantee it's on there.
Yeah.
The stuff that's on there, I'm like, what are you doing?
Or
like
like
somebody did
Casey's.
Hardee's. I'm like, we know what
Oh my
Hardee's
God.
is. Like, we know this is not what this is for. I mean, ultimately, really what it comes down to is my own fault because I just shouldn't join things like that. But
that was my first impulse when you said that, but I was like, listen, she's gotta learn it herself.
it was
Gotta-
in that,
she gotta learn-
it was in that day, that range between New Year's Eve and like the 5th of January
Oh,
where you
yeah,
think
yeah.
this might be my year.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you're kind of living in that bubble and you're like, things are golden and you're like, you know what? I'd like to try some new restaurants. And you do that. And then you're like, you know what? I hate everyone. Why did I do this?
That didn't change in 2024.
Yeah, never mind. I'm fine with the restaurants I know. Goodbye. Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, should we go back in time to
Yes.
1993 when there was a shitload of gall too?
There was a lot of
Yep.
gall.
Can I? I'll start us off because I've
Okay.
got a
Do it.
weird one.
Okay.
A fun one.
Okay.
Apparently, in 1993, there was an organization called the Barbie Liberation Organization.
My first one.
Was it?
Barbie Liberation?
Organization
Oh.
called BLO.
Blow. Blow.
All right, am I stealing this from your list? Do you have other things?
you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Blow me, Amy.
Yeah. Come on.
Heard that before. All right, so the BLO, the blow, was originally, it was conceived in an effort to like question and change the gender stereotypes around Barbie, right? So, valid thing. And it came out especially after Mattel released a doll that said math is hard. That was sort of a thing where we were like, wait a second, that's not great. So in 1993, the BLO, the blow, performed surgery on $300 to $500 in retail establishments and returned them to the shelves, an action they referred to as shop giving.
Oh.
So, like G.I. Joe dolls would say, the beach is the place for summer. And the Teen Talk Barbie would say, vengeance is mine.
Yeah, they switched the voice box of G.I.
Yes,
Joe's
switched the
and
voice box.
Barbies.
Vengeance is mine.
Yes. Which I think that's pretty great.
My favorite was Eat Lead Cobra.
Seriously?
Yeah, they changed from the voice Barbies to say Eat Lead Cobra.
Listen, if I hear a teenage girl say, vengeance is mine, I'm running the other way. They will take me down.
Yeah, that is dangerous.
Yeah.
And then they recruited some kids to show the dolls to media and to try and get like some media exposure to it. Like, oh my God, look at this Teen Talk Barbie saying vengeance is mine. But what's funny is like no one freaked out. Like Mattel just sort of ignored it and it just sort of dropped away from the media. Whereas if this happened today, I think it would have been yet another culture war
Oh, yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, oh my God.
It's been a week's worth of programming on Fox News.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, they lost their mind over the Barbie movie. So if this happened, they would, yeah. What's great is apparently this organization still exists, and there are details on their website about how to do that surgery in case anyone else wants to do it. So if you're looking for a 2024 project,
Oh, yeah.
some new crafting, something to learn, maybe check out Blow.
I want to know if that was brought up in the naming meeting. If they're like, well, that means our initials are Blow. And they were like,
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
That works.
We'll stay with it.
Uh-huh.
I love the idea. What a
Yeah.
great subversive
What a great
idea.
idea. What else did you find about Blow?
Basically that they had just taken the activists had taken the voice boxes and switched them so that when people bought the G.I. Joe dolls, then they said the female things like Ken is such a dream and will we ever have enough clothes? Apparently that's something that the Teen Talk Barbie said.
Also, I really love the idea of G.I. Joe saying Ken is a dream.
I loved that was my
That
favorite
feels,
one.
That feels
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It feels
That
right
felt
that
good.
someone in the military is like, yeah,
Yeah.
Ken is dreaming.
Ken.
Don't ask, don't tell.
That was
Yeah.
an effect.
And if you saw Ryan Gosling at the Golden Globes, Ken is dreaming because
Yeah,
wow,
he is. Yeah, he is. He's yep.
he's
Yep,
something.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well,
sorry to steal your.
No,
Okay.
absolutely not. That's terrific.
Do you remember that? Like,
No, I don't remember hearing
at all.
about it at all. I was
No.
blown away.
You were. Blow blew you away.
Well, 1993 was a pivotal year for me.
Oh.
Based on one pop culture event,
Okay.
and that was the movie Free Willy. And I'll tell you why. A couple of reasons. One, it's the first movie I cried in the movie theater at.
Whoa.
Like, I remember having such a visceral experience that I actually cried
Did you
now
not-
that could happen at any given time. I mean, I can cry at a commercial.
But you were what, like 11 or 12 or something?
Yes, I
you
was
said?
12.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did
So-
you not want Willy to get free? Did you
I
want
just
Willy to
was so
stay?
touched,
Oh,
I think,
okay.
by the whole thing. And
Keep a
this
hold
kid
of
being
Willy.
able to do
Don't
it.
free him.
And I had,
Lock him up.
how dare you? Whales deserve to be in captivity. Obviously. Which is why I'm now on Moms for Liberty.
Yeah.
Obviously.
That's right.
I had wanted to be a marine biologist since I was like 5. So when Free
that's
Willy was
right.
coming out, I was like, this is
Yeah.
the movie for me. And then it was this incredible emotional roller coaster. Also pivotal part of my life because I was taking piano lessons at the time.
Oh.
And the piano teacher taught me the theme song to Free Willy on the piano, and that is the only information I've retained from the piano. If you give me a piano right now, I can play the Free Willy theme song.
So we can take you downstairs
Yep.
to my piano and
Dun,
you can
dun, 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 dun,
Wow.
dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
I wouldn't recognize the song, so I would just go along
Right.
with whatever
no
you played.
one,
Yeah.
no one does. So
Okay.
it's not helpful. It's not helpful. But now, at that time, 12-year-old Erin was like, oh, it loved the Free Willy thing, obsessed with it. Adult Erin thought, what happened to that whale that was in that movie? Not good things is what I found out.
Oh.
So the whale that featured in Free Willy, Kiko, was captured in 1979, taken at 2 from its family, held in captivity in some amusement parks like in Mexico and some other places, was in the movie. Then after the movie, there was a lot of call for okay, it was called Free Willy. Like, are we going to free the whale? And I don't know if they just were sure, and they didn't put their top scientists on it. If they just put their lower level, C's get degrees scientists. And they went out and went ahead and released this whale back in 1996, I think. So 3 years after the movie, they released the whale back into the wild. They went ahead and thought, let's just go back to where we captured the whale and take it back there. Because obviously his family's still going to be there 20 years later.
Sure.
So shockingly, the whale being in captivity didn't know how to get its own food, couldn't find its family, and 2 years later died of pneumonia in the ocean.
You can get pneumonia in the ocean?
Apparently. As a whale.
Oh, gosh.
I didn't know
Well,
that.
maybe just captivity whales.
Maybe just
Yeah,
captivity whales.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But they couldn't find its family, which...
So Free Willy's a lie, is what you're telling
It
us.
is. Yeah, so as an adult, I really pulled back the curtain, and now I want to cry for a different reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry to bring it down, but Kiko didn't make it.
Poor Kiko.
Also, I just like the idea that they're like, okay, we're going to do this effort to free this. Let's just go back to where we got it in 1979.
Tracks.
Can you imagine, if a child came home from being kidnapped and they were like, well, we'll just take you back to your house that was around then.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
That's like the people that buy shoes and then take them back 8 months later and they're like, these, I don't like these, and they want their money back.
These feel like they've been worn. Yeah, just a wild...
Also, can we revisit something you said, which we talked about a few times on Broads and Books, but we haven't talked about here, which was your desire to be a marine biologist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a long dream of yours that never came to fruition.
Never did.
Because we're in a landlocked state.
Still in Iowa. Here I am. Didn't major in biology or marine biology. Went to UNI, which this might be shocking, but doesn't have a marine biology
The University
program.
of Northern Iowa doesn't have a marine biology
No.
program.
I'm shocked to find this out.
I know. I've often thought about that could be my legacy, bringing it to UNI.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In hindsight, it's probably a good thing because I probably would have had to go to Florida, and I really hate Florida. So I think that,
If you had moved down there, you might have turned into a mom for liberty.
I'm afraid. I don't know.
God.
I would hope that, in an alternative universe where I became a marine biologist, I would move to Hawaii in preservation efforts, that type of thing. But
Yes.
Yep, nope, never did follow that dream.
You would move to Hawaii and somehow you would overcome your natural skin tone. You'd be deeply tan.
You'd be
You'd be leathery tan.
I would be
full
leathery.
on leathery.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I'd be leathery. I'd live in a little hut.
Uh-huh.
I'd rescue people. And, it'd be a whole thing.
This sounds like a CBS show. You'd be a
Oh,
star
yes.
in a CBS procedural.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Doing important research. Probably if I was in Hawaii, I'd focus on turtles. That's really important there. Dolphins not getting killed by boats.
There'd be some
things.
cool name like Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. You'd be somebody marine biologist.
It's okay. I'm a marine biologist. What? I don't. Yeah. So.
Dr. Moana, fish doctor.
Yeah.
Yep,
Done.
that's right.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah. I also bought all the material that came out around Free Willy. For all birthdays and Christmases for the next year after Free Willy, I wanted not just the propaganda stuff, but I got all these really intense, deep scientific research books about whales from the library. I went nuts. It consumed my life.
Can I tell you a side note that somehow I remembered this week and was deeply mortified by it, which was that when I was like maybe 6 or 7, Dukes of Hazzard was a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a lot of Dukes of Hazzard gear. I had like a sleeping bag. I had like the Daisy Dukes like sleeping like pajama set, which was basically a set of underwear that looked like jeans, and like and then a tank top. There's a picture of me in that with clogs, and yeah, it was
Are the clogs Dukes of Hazzard?
I don't know.
They're
I
not
don't know.
Okay.
They were like
just there.
substitute cowboy boots, kind of.
Okay.
So I had all of that. So I was thinking this week, like, one, okay, there were Confederate flags all over that shit, and I just had that. And also, like, so my parents bought me that. It sent me on a whole weird mental rabbit hole that I was just like, wow, merchandising is weird. And I was wearing Confederate flags without realizing it at age 6.
You gave me a multiple choice quiz, and one of the options was Amy had Dukes of Hazzard gear. I'd be like, oh, that's the red herring.
Yep.
That's not true.
Yep.
So this is great information.
The more I thought about it, I thought that my dad might have really liked the show when I was watching it with him because there was the whole cop aspect
yeah,
and that
could be.
somehow he was identifying with the Dukes rather than the sheriff for some reason. I don't know what was happening, but yeah. Anyway, weird side note.
There was also a character named Cooter,
Wow,
which was weird.
That's right.
I also have a very clear memory, and I don't know why, of an episode of Dukes of Hazzard where there's some sort of competition among like the women of the town or something, and Daisy has to be blindfolded and given like a car engine, and she's timed to like put it back together or something like that. And it was like an episode of like, look, girls can do it too kind of thing.
Oh, no.
But it was also like a very like, I remember there still being a lot of tits and ass like
Oh, yeah.
jiggling
Oh, yeah,
all
yeah,
over
yeah,
as
yeah,
she's
yeah.
you know
Of course,
as she's
of course.
fixing this. And I don't know why, but that survived all the years and it's still in here.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. This feels like when I found out on Broads and Books that you were in a sorority. And I hadn't fully processed, but
right.
I'm sure over this week I will.
Okay.
So
All right. Keep percolating on my
Yeah.
Confederate gear.
expect lots of Dukes of Hazzard
Oh, great.
references.
Great. I don't remember anything else about the show except that one Daisy
Yeah.
Dukes moment and the fact that I had all this paraphernalia. Yeah.
Love it.
Anyway, Heath,
Wonderful.
take us away.
Wonderful, he says.
We are going to transition into highbrow entertainment now.
Okay,
Excellent.
all right. Oh,
Good.
how dare you. Free
Take
Willy
us-
is the highest of brows.
Take us highbrow.
So there was a movie called The Temp that came out in 1993, and it starred Lara Flynn Boyle, and Timothy Hutton and Faye Dunaway were in it also, and not Bo and Yang's Instagram handle, the actual Faye Dunaway. Yeah. So there's a lot of movies in the early 90s about like the babysitter from hell, the nanny from hell, the neighbor from hell, the roommate from hell, all that, right? Well, this is the temp from hell, right?
Which, when you think about it, says a lot about what we thought about women in the
Yeah.
90s.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, a lot of those movies were the gals
Evil
were
women.
up to no good.
Yes.
Up to no
Usually
good.
they were working.
Well, thanks, Blow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ruined our reputation.
So this story revolves around Peter Derns, who's a newly divorced executive for a baked goods company in Portland, Oregon. And he was recently released from a treatment center for paranoia.
Whoa. Okay. These are a lot of weird details.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, that's the most chaotic character description in the world to me. And who even knew you could go to rehab for paranoia? Like, is that
Also, I'm stuck on the baked goods company,
Right.
but yeah. I don't know why, but yeah.
Really bad, flat blueberry muffins. Why? I don't know.
Yeah. So Peter comes back to work after his time at what I call paranoia summer camp, and to find that the baked goods company he works for has been bought out.
No.
Oh, yeah.
no.
Corporate espionage.
Feels like a Hallmark movie.
His boss, Charlene, played by Faye Dunaway, not Bo and Yang's Instagram handle, demands a complete report on a new product by the next day.
Complete.
Which seems like an extremely vague assignment to me. I don't know. So he doesn't go get it done, but the office temp, Chris, helps him finish the report. So while this is happening, for these 2 days they're working on this, several people in the office start having accidents, including Peter's assistant, who has a run-in with a paper shredder.
Like,
Oh, we still need that report, damn it.
Yeah.
Still need it.
His baked goods executive rival who dies after being stung by a wasp, and another executive who is found hanging in their office from a possibly staged suicide.
Jesus.
So this is all happening at this baked goods place, and they're just like, keep working on the report.
Keep working.
So yeah, nobody puts together that these accidents started happening when Chris showed up, and every time one of the other executives dies, Peter gets a promotion.
Jesus.
So they don't even take the time to bury the people. We're just like, promote him. Get that report
These
done.
baked
We got to
good
get these baked
reports.
goods out. You're up.
Yeah, we don't have time to mourn. Just keep with the reports and the baked goods.
Bo and
along.
Yang said we need
Move
that report.
along.
Yeah.
So, and then it makes you think, it's like, how many times does someone have to get promoted into a position left vacant by an untimely death before HR gets involved, right? Like HR, where you'd think they'd just be like, what's going on here? And also,
Nope, not interested.
was the wasp in cahoots with the temp?
Did she train wasps?
She could have. They didn't really go over it, but I don't see why not.
I mean, Laura Flynn Boyle was very talented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a lot going on. So, the movie goes on, and Peter refuses Chris's sexual advances, which really pisses her off, again, with these ladies.
Oh, damn ladies.
So she tries to sabotage him and leaks confidential company information, which I don't know what that is for a baked goods company, like if it's recipes or something like that.
Goods are people.
And no one believes him because of his paranoia. Is that where this
Yes.
comes in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, in what I would call an idiotic turn of events, Chris takes the blame for leaking the confidential info, so both her and him get promoted.
What?
And I feel like the org chart at this company was put together by like the insurrectionists from January 6th.
Yeah.
Just moving them around all the time.
Yeah.
There's just like a line, and then when somebody falls off, it just moves
Right.
up. Like
Yeah.
it.
Uh-huh. So the finale finds Peter and Chris at the company bakery,
Oh.
obviously,
Okay.
where Chris throws Faye Dunaway off a catwalk, the kind that are in the sky, not the kind at Fashion Week.
Oh,
you know.
okay. Yeah.
And as you might expect, Peter gets promoted to Faye Dunaway's position.
Wait, who's left to promote him?
I think he gets to. I think he's at the top of the heap now. When she does.
He proclaims
Yeah.
himself the, okay.
So months later, he figures out that Chris is the killer because he realizes that the picture in the frame on her desk is the one that came with the frame.
That's what it took for him.
That's yeah.
Okay.
And there's not even a big fight or anything. He just has her arrested. Like, that's the way the movie ends.
But he still gets that sweet position.
Yeah.
And apparently he got that report done, so everything's saved.
So yeah, and I will say that the person who directed this movie also directed Child's Play, the movie with the doll that is possessed by the spirit of a serial killer and goes around murdering people, which actually seems kind of subtle to this nonsense that we're dealing with here. Yeah. And then I would also say it turns out Peter probably didn't need to go to rehab for paranoia because it sounds like it was the right amount of paranoid.
Yeah. It feels like he was on par.
Right, yeah.
Wow. I didn't remember that movie at all.
No.
Yeah, it was one of those ones, like, I mean, like, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, I think is a good movie, right? Yeah. And there was just so many, like, kind of rip-offs of that afterwards.
And there was Single White Female, that was big. Yeah.
And then you'd go and you'd watch them, and then they were bad.
Oh, yeah. In 1993, Sears announced that it was eliminating its 97-year-old catalog and the sales department associated behind it.
Really?
And
that early? I thought it was like way later than that.
That's the thing. It got me thinking about the importance of catalogs, especially in the 1980s. And I thought that it lasted longer into the 90s. So maybe there were just other catalogs that kept going for a while. But I don't know about you. I wanted to get your thoughts on like what catalogs meant to you guys. But to me, it was like, especially the JCPenney catalog.
Yes.
Yeah.
It came every year. And especially like the Christmas episode, the Christmas issue, where it was just like half of it was just ads for toys. Just so many toys. And I remember just looking at them and thinking like, I want all of these. I'm not going to get any of them. But this is so great. Just looking at this and wanting them. And also, I feel like for maybe people of our generation too, you know, some of the lingerie sections of those catalogs were very enticing because there wasn't much else to look at around the time. There was, you know, Skinamax that was pretty much fully clothed, and there was no computer porn, so it was a lot of catalog porn.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So my thought is that catalogs were a part of our generation that will never be replicated because there's nothing like that now, you know? But what did you have memories of catalogs?
That's how I figured out that Santa wasn't real.
Oh.
Because there was a catalog, Lily and Vernon.
Yes.
And there was like, I think personalized things in it or something. And I had gotten like a mug or something that had my name on it. And I flipped it over and it said Lily and Vernon on the bottom. And I was like, nope. Well, that ain't the name of an elf.
That's Santa's birth name, Lily and Vernon.
Yeah.
Sounds like his drag name, actually.
It does,
yeah.
But I had the same memories of like going through them and
like dog-earing the pages of like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back to this. I don't know for what.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna get this, but okay,
yeah. There was kind of a level of like, I'm not even really asking for this, but somehow I'm marking the page.
Yeah.
No, I remember we'd go through them, and that's how we'd circle what we wanted for Christmas.
Yes.
And that's how, my mom would be like, that's your Santa list, So, yeah.
I figured out that Santa wasn't real through the Easter Bunny because a
back door in.
Yes, because I remember like seeing a note from the Easter Bunny and realizing that's my mom's handwriting.
Oh.
And then I was like, oh no.
Oh no, it's all a lie.
It's a lie. So Santa must be a lie too.
Yeah. It's an odd thing as a parent. Like we perpetuated it, but Mason's at the age now where he hasn't asked. I mean, he's in fourth grade, and we really, honestly, Mike and I had a discussion this year. Like, do we need to tell him? Like, at some point, we're risking our own credibility. Like, he's gonna believe, and
we don't want him to be the last kid that believes.
No,
in Santa.
I know.
Yeah.
But Mike landed on the fact that he thinks he knows, and he's playing us. And I think that's probably accurate. Like, he knows, but he just doesn't want to bring it up because he's like, it seems to be working. So
your kid is diabolical.
I think so.
In a good way.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Anyway, so R.I.P. catalogs.
Yes.
You were an important part of my childhood.
Word.
Probably an important part of a lot of people's. Probably the early entries for a lot of spank banks. Probably. But even though I remember like from the lingerie pages, it was mostly like granny panties and stuff like that from JCPenney, but it was still like, I do remember like looking and thinking like, oh, that's what a woman's body should look like. And that's not what mine looks like. It's not what my mom's looks like. So what does that say about us? So, it started the whole fuckery of the mind for women too.
That reminded me that my mom used to have like some magazines that she got.
Yeah.
But she would tear out any of the stories that were like sex related or she thought were racist. She would tear them out. So if you went through the magazine, there was just like sections missing or like cover stories. You'd be like, oh, that's not in here. So protecting my young mind.
Protecting your young Catholic mind. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was reading everything smutty under the sheets. Like I could get my hands on at the library.
I remember my mom ordering things out of catalogs, and I remember spending a significant amount of time at JCPenney when she was returning things.
Yes.
You would have to, you'd order a bedspread or whatever, and it wasn't quite the right color or whatever, and she'd have to go in and
that was a whole ordeal.
You had to go back to like special back room in Penny's if it was a catalog order.
Yeah. And you'd have to like pull the number, and then you have to sit there and wait, and then they'd call you, and then you'd go up and you'd explain it.
It's a good point too, because I remember like calling to place the order for JCPenney because obviously no website or anything like that. So it was very much like it was a hands-on intensive project getting all of this stuff and then returning it.
Wild.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of enjoyed this piece because I feel like one of the things especially as we're headed into an election year, that really drives me nuts is that there's no like accepted facts anymore. Like we've done away with truth. And we've just decided we get to bend that at will. And I didn't realize that started in 1993.
Oh, good.
With a writer by the name of Lisa Holtz that I'll put in quotations because I don't think that's her real name.
Oh. I thought you were putting writer in quotes.
That too.
Yeah.
In 1993, that said that around 8 spiders crawl into your mouth every year while you sleep.
That's not true?
That fact was entirely made up and has been debunked over and over and over again, yet
we
still
hear it all the
exists
time
in our collective minds. And I find that to be so interesting.
Where was this article at?
I don't know where she published it.
Was it a reputable organization?
Yes.
I think it was on Truth Social.
Oh, it was on Truth Social. The first iteration of Truth Social.
How did that get published?
Right. It's like there was no fact checking. And it feels like the beginning of where we are now in the news cycle where we can just say things and then you can just double down and be like, nope, that's true. And like there was I feel like it came out and the sort of reception of it at the time was like, oh my gosh, that's shocking. Because everyone assumed that there was these scientific studies that backed that up. In the article that she wrote, she doesn't really actually cite anything. So people just sort of made that jump. Like, obviously, if you're putting this out and published, there was an understanding at that time that meant that it was real. I think now we're at the point with the internet, Facebook, Fox News, that we know that you can say a lot of things that aren't fact-checked or based on anything.
Or you can say things that are very, very true, and if someone doesn't want them to be true, they just say that's a lie.
They just say that's not true.
Yeah.
Like
even
climate
even when there's evidence.
Right.
Yeah.
All the scientific evidence. Yeah. I was surprised to learn that we started that so long ago. With the spiders. Because I remember that. I don't know that I heard it in 1993. I just remember at some point in my life I've heard that and thought that it was reality. I mean, I think intellectual minds, you question, like, well, when and how?
I thought I remember you telling me, like, Mason saying that at one point or something. Yeah. And, like, him hearing that. So it's still being spread around.
It's still being spread around. And when you really break it down to, brass tacks, you're like, well, that doesn't really track. But who knew that at the time? Everybody just thought it was true. I also love that it was a fake name. Like, how did
Who is this person?
Right.
Was it like Trump or something? Did they take on that? And they're like, let's test the waters. Let's see what we can get away with.
It was Kiko the Whale's Revenge.
Oh, Kiko. That I'll allow. You need your revenge,
You
Kiko.
do.
Yeah.
I read somewhere a few years ago that the third Monday in January is the most depressing day of the year. Right.
That's
Which I believed for a while, I mean,
Is
because
that tomorrow?
yeah, it's tomorrow.
Shit.
well.
But then I read that actually, like, some greeting card company in the United Kingdom made it up to sell
makes
greeting
sense.
cards. It was like them or their marketing company that they hired or something. They just made up this fact to get people to buy greeting cards.
Wait, so they were selling cards for the third Monday in
Yeah, they were
January.
like they wanted to get people to buy cards to, like, cheer other people up. So they just created this thing and put it out there to sell greeting cards.
Wow.
I mean, I buy it. Like, I get why people would think, the third Monday in January is depressing. I mean, it's a Monday, it's January, it's cold,
Given up on everything hopeful at that point.
But it is just thinking about the northern hemisphere, not about the southern. So yeah, it makes sense the UK did it.
But it's also a little bit racist because the third
That's what I
third
was
Monday
just
in
gonna
January
say.
is Martin Luther King Day too. So
That's why I was like, is it depressing because of race relations? Like, what? Yeah, you're right. It is.
No, because tomorrow's the day when everyone, including Republicans, are going to say how much they admire Dr. MLK Jr. and how much he's made an impact on them. Really, Republicans? Cool.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a special day in Iowa because it's the caucuses, and it just feels a little bit like I was saying before we started recording that Ramaswamy had a great quote this week. That's because we're supposed to have, again, like negative 45 wind chills, and they're real worried about people getting out to this caucus.
Yeah.
And he said that Washington didn't complain about the weather when he was crossing the Delaware. So just think about that, I guess.
Again, that feels like something you can just say.
right.
And you're like, sure, yeah, that totally tracks.
And guess what else? Abraham Lincoln didn't even know what a caucus was.
Yes.
So what do you say to that,
Yeah.
Ramaswamy?
Right.
I mean,
And those
he's
of us in
random.
Iowa don't really know what caucuses are and why we have this.
Yeah.
Why is this? Why? And yeah.
Yeah.
I will say about Washington crossing the Delaware, I've only seen it via paintings.
Correct.
And number one, Washington wasn't doing anything. He was just standing in the middle of the boat pointing, right?
Facts.
And also, he shouldn't have been standing in the boat. Like, that made the boat, he should have been
Very
sitting down. It's
unstable.
unsafe. Yeah.
Also, it looked like a clear day in the painting. So there was no weather to worry about.
right.
And in case you were wondering, like my husband did, that checking facts to make sure that actually happened during a cold time. It did happen on supposedly Christmas Day. Whatever year, but Mike thought maybe it was July and he was going to really uncover something.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Of course he didn't worry; it was balmy. But no.
He also had wooden teeth, so what the hell does he know?
It's true. Things were different.
You want wood in your mouth?
Yeah.
We might need to cut that.
The answer to that depends on the day. So, yeah.
I meant it to be. And then it came out, and there it is.
As
so.
wood does, it comes out. And
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I meant wooden teeth is how
Yeah,
I should have
right,
phrased that,
right.
but I didn't. I didn't. I didn't.
They also just went on like giving a blowjob when you have wooden teeth.
Ouch.
Like that doesn't seem great. Anyway.
If you're polite, you take your wooden teeth out. That's the polite thing to do.
I'm the idiot that was thinking
they were implants. Like, looking at them, like, how'd you get them? I'm like, okay, wow, went too far on dental work there for Washington's time. Good Lord.
Oh, Heath, take us away from this.
Well, I know you guys like books, so I thought we could talk about a book.
Yes.
So in 1993, well, the book came out in 1992, but it didn't really make a big impact on our lives until 1993, and that book was The Bridges of Madison County.
I have that on my list
by
too.
Robert
Yeah.
James Waller. It spent 35 weeks at the top of the New York Times fiction bestseller list in 1993, and it tells the story of Francesca, an Italian-American World War II bride, and a lonely housewife who lives on a farm in rural Madison County, Iowa, in the 1960s. And while her family is away at the Iowa State Fair, Francesca begins a romantic affair with a photographer who's in the area to photograph the covered bridges of Madison County.
This is why you don't go to the state fair, because adultery happens while you're there.
National
That's
Geographic.
a good point.
photo.
While you're eating that caramel apple, shit's going down.
Yeah.
Your wife's just spreading it all over town.
Also, were they gone for a long, like, were they staying over? They must have had one of those camping spots that got
must
whisked
have.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what, because like now I'm thinking like if I live in Winterset and I I'm going to the state fair, like
I'm making it back.
yeah, like it would be a day trip. I wouldn't like stay there for.
And
a
also,
whole week.
why'd you leave her behind? You just left her behind while you're at the
I
state
think
fair?
she had to take care of the farm
Oh, of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
and some stranger.
Yeah, and Clint Eastwood. That's who she had to take care of. Yeah.
So, I mean, the book sold over 50 million copies, and it's one of the best-selling books of the 20th century. So that says something about the 20th century. It really does.
Yeah, it does.
So the author, Robert James Waller, he was a professor at the University of Northern Iowa. Go Panthers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was taking photos of the Madison County bridges while on leave from his teaching job when he got the idea to write the novel. So this is all very Cedar Falls coded, I would say.
Yes, but definitely.
Was he a teacher there still when you were there?
No, he was
Okay.
not. I think he had book
He
money.
hit it big.
Yeah,
It
he
was
had
like,
book
fuck
money.
this.
Yep.
Yeah.
See you later.
Uh-huh.
So obviously, he kind of based the photographer character on himself, and he said that he based the character of Francesca on his wife. So to me, this feels like some sort of bedroom role-playing situation presented through the lens of like a Hallmark movie. Right?
Yeah.
When I was a senior in high school, I read this book sitting on the floor in my friend's parents' kitchen on New Year's Eve because I couldn't sleep. I read the whole thing in one night. I just couldn't sleep, so I read the whole thing. And I can assure you, if I did it in one night, like this isn't complicated prose here, people. Like you can breeze through this in a day or two if you put your mind to it. The New York Times review said the story appealed to middle-aged, world-weary people. And I can assure you that is the most accurate description of me as a senior in high school that I can think of. Middle-aged, world-weary.
So basically, you were 48 in high school, and you just now caught up to where you really are. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My actual age and my chronological age are finally the same. So in the book, the affair between Francesca and the photographer, whose name I don't remember. I don't know why I don't remember the photographer's name. Cliff, maybe? I don't know.
Let's name him Cliff.
Yeah.
I like Cliff, yeah. We'll go with that.
So it takes place again on their farm while the family, as we had said, was away at the state fair. And I mean, I don't want to brag, but had my home been built at the time, they would have driven by my house to get to the state fair. So
Oh, claim to fame.
yeah.
You should make a little sign.
Right. Yeah, they should put that. Really should put that outside of
should.
Des Moines. Finally we'd have something to brag about.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I had the choice between having to spend a week at the state fair or having my spouse cheat on me. I'm not sure which one I would.
I'd go
which
with the
one's
latter for
worse.
sure.
Yeah,
State fair is an abomination. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it is.
Staying on message in 2024.
State fair is an abomination. The way you said it, so definite. Okay. All right.
And it's nice, even though it's what 100 degrees colder now than it usually is at the
Yeah.
state fair. You're still
on
Yeah.
it. Still on it.
you're not changing your point of view.
I don't waffle. I stay.
You're no flip flopper. So the book was made into a movie in 1995, starring Clint Eastwood, as we mentioned, and Meryl Streep. And I remember seeing it in the theater mostly because I was pretty jazzed that the movie was filmed in Iowa. And at the time, it was like, I'm rubbing elbows with famous people. And I do specifically recall being a solid 50 years younger than the average age of the rest of the theater goers. And like now I would say the tables have kind of turned because I'm usually the oldest person at the movies.
Yep.
cursing at people when they get out their phones. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, life is full circle.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yep. We're back to where we started.
I had that on my list as well because it felt like with Field of Dreams in like 1989 and then Bridges of Madison County, there was like this vision of Iowa that really took hold around this time in our sort of like, formative years of this. And it felt sort of like a conflicting image too of like this sort of, back in time, like,
Right.
time hasn't touched Iowa. It's just, sort of pure.
We don't have
whatever.
single moms.
So it was this very like weird image of Iowa that never matched us. I don't think that's ever really gone away either. And it feels very relevant now with caucuses because it feels like every time there's a caucus, reporters come in and it feels like they think Iowa is that still. Right?
Yeah.
It's this very like backwards, out of touch place, which I mean, there's some parts of Iowa that definitely are. But it feels like we're still fighting against this image in some ways.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Well, every interview that's done around this time when
Yeah.
there's like national attention here because of politics or whatever makes it look like that's how it is because they always find the person that still looks
Yeah.
like they're from that
Right.
time period.
Yes.
And talks like that. And
Some old dude in overalls.
yes,
Always.
That's always the guy they're going to interview. And yeah.
And there's usually a story that somebody from New York that's never been here before will be like, actually, it's not so bad. And it's just like, oh, thank you.
Great. Thanks for the pity. Yeah. And it's not just the U.S. because, like, I was on a conference call this week and someone from the U.K., they were asking where everyone was located. And I said Des Moines, Iowa. And they're like, oh, you got a big day coming up. And I'm like, what? Why do you know that? Like, what? We
Yeah.
have to know that, but
Yeah.
you don't need to know that,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not right.
No.
It's
And
not
now
right.
you've got an image of me in overalls, even though I'm on I'm on Zoom dressed in normal clothes.
I like the idea of you in overalls at the state fair going, this is an abomination.
I want a Fox News reporter to come up to me
Oh, man.
and
Can you
ask me about
imagine?
Iowa. Yeah.
You remember the movie Sleeping with the Enemy, right? With Julia
Yes,
Roberts?
yeah.
And that's when she runs off from her husband. She runs off to Cedar Falls, Iowa.
That's right.
That's
Right. And I remember when she's like pulling up on the bus, there's like the town square and there's a farmer in overalls like putting up the flag. And it's just like, I thought that was weird because to me at the time, Cedar Falls seemed like kind of a big town.
Yeah,
because they had a mall and they had a McDonald's and they had,
Yeah.
it was a lot bigger than the town I grew up in. But yeah, that was
I forgot. That was
Yeah.
another Iowa representation that was just like, okay, here we go. We're Mayberry, pretty much. But we're all, yeah. Oh, wait, it's my turn. Sorry.
Yeah. I was like, is it me? No, okay.
Yeah. Okay. This falls in the category of weird food and drinks.
ooh.
Because in 1993, Snackwell's cookies were introduced.
No. They really were? Oh, no.
And I wanted to bring it up because I think they were an example. There was some real weird food stuff that came out in the 90s.
So
like,
weird.
wasn't it not long after this, like, Alestra came out?
Oh, yeah.
It was this sudden craze of, like, fat-free everything.
Yes,
Right? And so
yes.
Snackwell's cookies were branded as this, like, miracle sort of cookie where it's, like, fat-free and you can, you can indulge and still be heroin chic and all of the things, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Kate
Because
Moss.
that was hot right now too, and I remember buying into that because I remember like even as in high school like having packs of those. Should I forget the flavor? It was sort of like a lemony cookie or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that. And
I just remember the chocolate ones that were just like a
Yes.
drop of.
it was like almost a marshmallow kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah. And I know we were supposed to be eating them like, this is satisfying. And,
State fair's an abomination and Snackwells are great.
In a different life, you could have run a Snackwell's booth at the state fair.
yeah, you could have. It's just like the real thing, I promise. And I wish that I had the foresight, because they're still available, Snackwell's cookies, I think.
Yeah, they
right?
are. Yeah.
I wish I'd had the foresight to buy one and see what the ingredients were, because I imagine they're probably accidentally vegan, too. There's probably, like, no food in them
Oh, yeah, you're right.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet they are.
Yeah. But bringing that up because it felt indicative to me of this trend in the 90s of suddenly fat was like the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps changing every few years, right?
Right.
About like what's the enemy, carbs, fat, whatever. And this time it just happened to be fat. And so we had Snackwell's cookies, and then later we had Olestra, which caused anal leakage.
Yep.
Welcome
was
to my life in the leakage. That was the first. I remember hearing that and thinking, huh.
Did they say that in the commercials?
Or
Or was
think
it just
later
the
they
media
had
reports?
to or something, didn't they?
think-
Or it was
Yeah.
in small print on the bottom or
Yes.
something?
Because it was basically stuff that made you just poop your pants constantly.
There's nothing more glamorous than anal leakage.
But I want
due
to.
to eating Doritos.
Yeah. You need to point out though that anal leakage is different than just straight pooping your
It's
pants.
true, it's
Like
just-
anal leakage feels like less control. Like,
Do you speak from experience, Erin?
no, I'm just saying. If
Okay.
you think about the words, it feels like there's less. I mean, I think we've all been in that situation where we thought, "Oh, I'm
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
either
gonna
going
do
to
it.
or I did poop
Yeah.
my pants." But anal leakage is like a whole different. Like it's something.
Something's wet.
What?
What is that?
I'm
That's
suddenly
not
wet.
good.
That's not right.
Yeah.
That's not right. That's not
But
right.
yeah, so people were willing to eat Doritos and Ruffles and all these
Yeah.
chips that had Olestra, which was, I mean, what was it? It was something to sort of mimic the taste of fat, but it wasn't fat or something.
Yeah.
And it was basically like motor oil that just went through your body.
Yeah.
Motor oil. Just went right out the butt, too, because it just...
No.
I used to work with a lady who was on a lie, if you remember that.
Yes,
Oh,
It was a
yeah.
weight loss supplement. And basically, it kind of, if you took it and then you ate something with fat in it, it wouldn't let your body absorb the fat.
Uh-huh.
And one of the warnings on the box was they were like, "Don't wear white pants." They just put that on the box.
Oh, my God.
And I remember this person on more than one occasion sprinting from their desk to the bathroom at work. And I feel like the white pants thing is just like, it's still not okay to poop your pants if you're wearing black pants.
No, it's
Like,
not.
Yeah, that doesn't solve the problem.
Oh, my God. It doesn't solve the
Yeah.
problem. So this is where diet culture has taken us,
Uh-huh.
is that it's just accepted you're going to poop your pants
Uh-huh.
while you're dieting.
You're gonna look great doing it, though.
You're going to look great. And just don't wear white pants. You're fine.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Also, with the Snackwell's cookies, it was this whole trend of like, you can eat these and they'll be like regular cookies, but what it really was like sawdust, and so it was not
Yeah.
satisfying, so
No.
you ate more.
Right.
So then you got this whole habit of sort of, overcompensating, which then is causing a whole other problem, and it's just fucked up. It's all so fucked up, and this feels like a very big sign of that in 1993.
But it makes you wonder, like, did the marketing team come up with the idea? They were like, let's market these cookies as being like good for you, and then now go figure out the recipe for the cookies. Like, or did
That's a
they
good point.
figure out the
Oh,
recipe
yeah.
first and then came up with the marketing?
That's a good question.
I feel like you're right that marketing drove this more than anything. Probably with Olestra, too. Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
Olestra?
Olestra.
Yeah, you're saying it, yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and piggyback on
From
that
anal
on a
leakage?
food craft. Yeah, kind of, because I think it might be related.
Okay.
In 1993, McDonald's, being the ever-present cultural figure that we know them to be, came out with what we call dino size. Because Jurassic Park was a huge phenomenon.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh,
The movie was huge. So
Uh-huh.
McDonald's came out what they referred to as dino size. And this was so popular that this is what became super size at McDonald's. It actually started with the Jurassic Park movie and a promotion
know that.
to up everything. Like you get it bigger because it was so big, Jurassic Park.
Wow.
And then it was so popular it stuck around. And without them, we never would have had Super Size Me, which has its
Yay?
own flaws.
Yeah.
But I never knew that that's where it originated from. Like we're used to McDonald's hopping on like pop culture, things and using their Happy Meal toys as promos for movies and stuff
Right.
like that. But I didn't know that I just thought that was something that they added to their menu at some point. I didn't realize it started with Jurassic Park.
Speaking of
Which is kinda
McDonald's
wild.
trends, so a few episodes ago, you told us that McDonald's had tried pizzas, which
Yeah.
was a great story. It was hilarious. And then this week, I don't know if you've seen this, there's now a podcast out called Remember when McDonald's had pizza. And I was like, did someone listen to Erin and steal her? I haven't listened to it because I refuse. But it was also like, wow. So someone, discovered this just like you and decided to make an entire podcast out of it. Like, I mean, Erin told a tight story. Like three to 5 minutes.
McDonald's pizza is not worth an hour of listening. No. Trust me, I did a deep dive. I have too much information on McDonald's pizza for the rest of eternity. But, yeah. Here we go. Second thing.
Goes to show. I mean, podcasts can be about anything, I guess.
Yeah.
Or everything.
And they're not as smart and tight as ours is.
Nope.
No.
They're loose. They're loose podcasts.
They're loose. They're dumb and loose.
They're loose like that anal leakage.
That's right.
That's what it made.
These podcasts are just anal leakage. That's all they are.
It is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can wear white pants when you listen to our podcast, not theirs.
You can. Well, you better keep your eye out because if they start a McDonald's had dino size,
then they are stealing.
Then I am over it.
They're a fan of you and they're stealing all your ideas.
But I do like imagining the meeting where they're like, "Hey, our dino size numbers were off the charts. We got to keep this around. What can we call it?" Well, that's just super, Glenn. That's it.
Oh, Glenn.
Super size.
I want to make a podcast of all your fake marketing meetings that you come up with.
I'm never not in a fake marketing meeting.
You're always in a fake marketing meeting.
I guess that's where my default is in my brain. I'm just always in a fake marketing meeting.
And there's always some slacker dude that's just, got pizza on his tie, and he's got the idea for the next.
Let's do pizza. Let's do supersize.
So, if we develop a new podcast, it's going to be
also-
Erin and her marketing meetings.
I think that dino size missed the boat. I think you should have just called it Jurassic size.
Yeah.
Like that seems better. Like dino size seems like maybe it's like a little bit like
dino nuggets
or something.
Yeah.
I feel like they probably did research and people couldn't pronounce Jurassic. At that point, it was still a new enough word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a good point. Or maybe the word ass in it made them think of anal leakage and they didn't want to do it. Yeah.
Or big ass.
Or a big
there
people would figure out
gonna
that this
be-
was going to give you a big butt.
Or maybe they realized all the dinosaurs were from the Cretaceous period and not Jurassic in that movie and were like, that's not accurate.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay. Well, then.
Well, you've been burned, McDonald's. And
also, the way
Michael Crichton.
The way you said that made it feel like you held resentment about this for a while.
I do, I think. I'm just realizing that now.
Fuck you, Jurassic Park. You're a liar.
Liars! Dino size.
Heath, you got a last one?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
It is a brief little ditty called "I'd Do Anything for Love, But I Won't Do That" by Meatloaf.
God, that song!
It came out in August of '93, and the citizens of America, I feel, collectively said, "Meatloaf's still alive?"
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know at the time. He's not now, but he was then.
When did he leave us?
2022. He hasn't been gone super
Because
long.
honestly, if you had asked me, I would have said he's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that here in a minute.
Okay.
Because, he got up to some shenanigans there towards the end.
Oh, he
Yeah,
did?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
And that song was written by Jim Steinman, who had written most of Meatloaf's popular work before, like Paradise by the Dashboard Light,
Oh, okay.
2 out of 3 in Bad, all that jazz.
Okay.
And it was part of his cleverly titled album, Bad Out of Hell 2, Back into Hell. Sounds like a confused bat.
I'm out, I'm back.
Yeah. Forgot my keys.
Maybe that bat went to the state fair.
Probably. The album version of the song is 12 minutes and 1 second long.
No, it is not.
Yes. Right. You could watch, if you listen to that twice, that's a whole sitcom episode.
It is.
Yeah.
No,
it's-
thank you.
I didn't
Right.
remember it being that. I remembered Paradise by the Dashboard Lights being super long. I
Yeah.
didn't remember this one.
Oh my gosh.
The song went to number 1 in 28 countries, so it was a pretty big hit, and it was his biggest song.
Wow.
It also earned him a Grammy Award for Best Rock Vocal Performance Solo, which is kind of ironic because he's singing with another performer for half the song. It's clearly not a solo. There is a woman singing
Also,
on the
I
song
don't
with
know if
him.
I'd call that rock at that point either, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The other performer that he is singing with, her name is Lorraine Crosby, who is only credited as Mrs. Loud in the album notes. She does not appear in the delightfully tacky music video, which is an homage to Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
And was directed by Michael Bay. I did not know that before this.
What?
Yeah. Which I would say is probably an early indicator of the artistry he'd later bring to the Transformers movies. And in the video, an actress named Dana Patrick lip syncs the female part.
Oh.
Like, it's weird that the woman who sang on the song didn't even get in the limelight. Yeah.
That feels like when CNC Music Factory did that. And it was because the original singer was a big lady, right? And they wanted a skinny one. I wonder if there's something similar. Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So what exactly Meatloaf won't do for love isn't made entirely clear in the song. At the very, very end of the song, if you make it that far, if you've got the time, and who's got the time?
No.
The female voice sings, "Sooner or later you'll be screwing around," and Meatloaf responds with, "I won't do that." Which is kind of disappointing conclusion to a song that lasts 12 minutes. You know, that's the thing you won't do. I won't cheat on you. Like, that's a given. Like, you shouldn't do that anyway, right?
I think even when I was a young kid, before I'd had sex, I thought it alluded to a sex act. Like, there's something that you weren't going to do.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I'll do anything for love, but I won't
I
do
immediately went
pegging.
crime. Like, I thought she was asking him to
Oh.
commit a crime.
I see. Interesting. Our perspectives.
He won't murder for you, okay? It's not true love.
So I have a list here of things
Oh, God.
that I think maybe would be better.
Yeah.
A better way to end the song. I do anything for love, but I won't sign up for a Columbia House membership using your pet's name. Right? I do anything for love, but I won't sign up for a cell phone using your roommate's social security number so I can call my boyfriend overseas and stick you with the bill.
That one had some
Yeah,
legs.
that-
That went on a journey.
That's got some roots in reality that I can't get into on a podcast.
Oh, no.
I do anything for love, but I won't let you meet my secret second family that lives in Tulsa.
Of course, they live in Tulsa. That tracks. Yeah. Yep.
All the secret families live in Tulsa.
All of them are in
All of
Tulsa.
them.
That's all
All
Tulsa
of them.
is secret family.
Secret families.
I do anything for love, but no butt stuff until after the third date.
I always thought it referred to as like, it's got to be about anal. It's got to be about like pegging or something. I don't know. Yeah.
I do anything for love, but I won't show you my internet search history.
Oh,
That's just asking for them to leave.
That's fair.
Yep. So Meatloaf was a vegetarian from 1981 to 1992, and I assume he stopped being a vegetarian because he got tired of people pointing out how ironic that was.
Oh my God.
He once shared in an interview that he asked to meet Katie Lang once, and he said she wouldn't meet him because she was a vegetarian, and his name was Meatloaf. He said he stopped being a Katie Lang fan after that, and surely she has never recovered.
Never.
No. Yeah.
So yeah, Meatloaf did not believe in climate change
Oh.
and opposed mask mandates during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I'm sorry to bring us home on a downer.
So he'll do anything for love but wear a mask.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, won't wear
So,
a mask.
he died 2 years ago this month, reportedly from COVID-19 complications.
That's-
leaving
yeah.
behind the obvious question: was wearing a mask the one thing he wouldn't do for love?
Yes.
Yeah. So just don't think of that part when you're listening to.
Okay,
I do
all right.
anything for love, but I won't do that.
I don't know. I feel like that deepens the story now if
Yeah.
I think about
Yeah,
that part.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well.
93.
Mm-hmm.
Delivered.
93. Hell of a year.
Uh-huh.
Hell of a year.
I love a year. Do I say that every time? I feel like I do.
Maybe. The good news is this time we're going to be back in a couple weeks. Another
man.
all new episode.
Yeah.
Who knows what year? We don't even know what
We
year.
don't
haven't
even
decided
know.
yet.
Yeah. We keep it loose. We
Yep.
keep it loose like Alestra.
Keep it loose. Don't.
Should we just do an episode on Alestra? Just the whole thing?
Yes. Yeah. Let's get real into it.
They gotta have some around somewhere. Let's take some and see what happens.
Oh, wow. This feels like on the same par as taking like hard drugs or something.
Like we're going to
Like
lock
we're
ourselves in and
never-
do psychedelics, but instead we're going to take a less drug.
And we're never going to recover.
Yeah, no. We're just going to do live updates
No one wants that.
of us just crying. Why did we do this?
It feels like a colonoscopy prep or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe that is what really a Lester
Maybe
was
it
this whole
is.
time.
That's probably what it was. It was a side effect of that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we've uncovered it.
Yeah.
Anyway, until next time.
More medical mysteries.
Yeah.
Solved.
Fuzzy Memories is a Broads and Books production. It's hosted by Heath Smith, Aaron Johnston, and Amy Lee Lillard. The show is produced by Amy Lee Lillard. Follow us at Fuzzy Memories Pod on Instagram for clips and highlights. And follow us at Broads and Books Productions for updates on new shows coming your way. See you next time.
My headphones quit working again.
Oh, did they?
Maybe it's me.
Can you hear?
Yes, I can now.
Okay.
Yep.
Just tell me again and I'll
All right.
plug it in and out.
All right. As long as
Pull-
they're
I'll
still
pull it
recording
out.
this, I don't want this. We're doing comedy gold here.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want.
I'll pull it out and then
Okay.
I'll put it back in and we'll just
All
keep
right.
doing that as long as it takes for the headphones to work. You got it?
Feels like we're talking about something else.
Nope.
Okay.
Talking about headphones.
All right.